Hey, guess what? Hello, what's up? My name is Art. I'm back. Another video. The last video which I uploaded was about whether college was right for you or was it right at all for anybody. I did throw some little social commentary about that dude who got shot, which I can't remember the name for the life of me. And the thing is that's just my opinion on it. Nothing more, nothing less. But let's talk about something cool. So today I had a podiatrist appointment. And so, of course, during that, because of COVID-19, normally what they do, my podiatrist, they'll soak your feet for like 20 minutes under agitated water to soften up the skin for your feet, so that way they can check for lesions and all sorts of stuff like that, and they make the nails soft so they can clip your nails. One, being diabetic, you have to see a podiatrist like me. So to make sure that, and plus I go there because years ago I had an ingrown I broke my toenail, and it's been growing inward, or ingrown toenails. And sometimes when that happens, it's good, and sometimes it's not. But due to COVID-19, they don't do the whirlpool anymore. They just have you sit in a chair. So my appointment was at 1. Got there at 1. I saw the podiatrist at maybe like 1:40, and at 1:50 I was picking up my medication and some lotion for the feet and stuff like that and skin. I had an ingrown toenail, and plus, since they didn't soak it, it hurt like the dickens when they cut it out. But right now it's almost 5 o'clock and I'm doing better. It's not hurting as much, but if I put pressure on it, it does hurt. And it looks like it's bruising a little bit. It's bruising a little bit because of that, but that's okay. So after that, I went to a different comic book. I went to buy some comic books. I went to buy some comic books. I went to a different store instead of my normal store or my backup store. I went to my super backup store so I can pick up some other stuff. I have a feeling that they had some stuff, and they did. So I'll show you that today. I get home. Got this in the mail, which is one comic book from eBay. This box, which means there's a couple of books I won, and this other box, which I'll do a video, which I unbox all 3 of these. And I think this is probably about 10 to 15 books altogether. Wow! So it's awesome. Now, true, with all my videos, either I'm talking about comic books, movies, video games sometimes. Right now, I just bought a PS4 Pro. I'm playing it at least every other day, at least 1 or 2 hours a day, And I'm thinking about downloading the Ark. Right now, PlayStation Store has this deal in the Arkham series, like the Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight, Arkham City, and I think Arkham Knight. Is that it? Or it's a Return to Arkham? One of those two. All for like $20 for all 3 of them. Now, I played Arkham Asylum 10 years ago when it first came out, and I beat that. So now it took me. Well, that was a long time ago. But anyway, thinking about buying that this weekend. For $20, get 3 games that it'll take me so long to play. And I'm just waiting for certain things to happen, and I can start playing more often. I got a month's vacation coming up, so I'm taking a week off September, October, November, and December, so I'm gonna have more time to play. get some things taken care of around the house and everything else like that. Now, without further ado, let's get on with this comic book haul. Now, the thing is, I haven't bought any new fresh comic books in 2 weeks. Okay, so this one's the free comic book day, Blade Runner 2019. I heard about this. Going back into the Blade Runner series and stuff like that. Don't know what it's about because I just bought them. I'll read them later. This is from Titan Comics, which is pretty. They usually do some good stuff. But other than that, that sounds pretty cool. So it was free. Why not? Next one is Harley Quinn number 75. This, I believe, is the series finale. So there's not any going. They're going to stop producing Harley Quinn comic books. And there's also different variants of this book. I didn't feel like buying those variants. But if you look at it, this cover looks pretty crazy. So that was kind of cool. Next is, I decided to buy this because it's part of the Joker War, Red Hood and the Outlaws. So I'm kind of interested about what's going on here. Very interested in that. Batgirl, part of the Joker War tie-in. I'm interested in what's going on there. Usually I'm buying books I don't usually pay attention to, just because it's part of the Joker War. This Nightwing. Now that cover looks creepy as fuck. Man, take a look at that. Take a look at that cover, man. Look at that. There could be a good political joke right here, which I would say. I guess this is like Joe Biden. I guess they took this from Joe Biden about how they always say he always like hugging on people and stuff like that. Yeah, they say Biden always liked to grope people, and well, it's better than like Trump back in the day having little girls sit on his lap, I guess. Next is Batman 97, which is kind of neat. I'm trying to wait till all of the Joker Wars are out before I read it all, because I don't want to read it and they're like, oh my god, I gotta remember all that. I kind of want to read it all at once. So if I can wait, there's like three more months of this. So I'm like, oh my god, I don't know if I can wait. But anyway, next one is kind of cool. It's called Maestro. Now, right here, you see this is the Hulk, and this is Maestro. Maestro is the Hulk in the future. Now, supposedly, this is supposed to be the origin story of how the Hulk becomes the Maestro. Now, what happens is, supposedly, this started off in a series back in the 90s called Future Imperfect, where you see, on one cover, you see the Hulk like this, and then you see the older Hulk like this. And somehow he becomes evil. And I remember reading it 20-some years ago, and I don't remember much of it today, but I'm kind of interested in this. Oh, before I go, if you remember our prior video, I showed you this. Spider-Man number 1. This is a 1990. This is the first of the McFarlane Spider-Man books after he made Spider-Man super famous in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. And what happened is of course this is a 9.2 out of 10. See, what happened is there's two types of newsstands that looks like this, and the direct market where the comic book shops had it's what they call a poly bag. So there was a bag over this, and because of the fact that there's no bag over this, that's one reason why it's not a higher grade. But then again, how can you grade it if you can't watch it? Now, what happened is there's a reason why I'm showing you this is because I picked up a facsimile of that. See, So I could read this again instead of looking for this in my comic book stack. I could read this again right here. So I don't have so you know, a lot of people will say, well, you buy this, it's not good because you can't read it. Well, that's why I got this. When I found this today, I was like, I gotta buy it, so that way I could read this again. Nice. Now this next book is the big daddy of them all. Now let me set this whole thing up. Very few years ago, DC Comics. I feel sorry for DC Comics right now because AT&T bought them. So, and they laid off half their staff. They're closing a lot of books. So that's worse than what Marvel went through in the 90s before Disney bought them. Okay, they tried to revamp the whole DC stories. They call themselves the New 52. Now, during the New 52 era, Batman, of course, maybe drinking this cold water is making me cough more. But it feels so good. Batman found this thing called the Mobius chair. The Mobius chair it's called Mobius chair or the Metron chair or something like that. Whoever sits on it gains ultimate knowledge of everything, and so Batman sits on it. For some storyline, he sits on it, and I wish I grabbed the storyline. And he sits on it, and he asks the chair the most one question he can never find the answer to. The one question he can never find the answers to. No, it's not about who killed his parents, because in Batman Year 2 he found the guy Joe Cool who killed his parents, and he brought him to justice. So what happened was he asked that question that he can never figure out who it is, even though technically, if you saw the animated movie I forgot his name offhand. Wow. Wow, I forgot the name of it. It was on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, or that's based off the book, which is an awesome book as well. Oh my gosh, it was on the tip of my, and I just watched this like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But anyway, since I can't remember it, I'm going to tell you about this story. It says, who is the identity of the Joker? That was the question he asked. And then the bombshell of all bombshells comes out. The Metron chair, or the mediocre chair, whatever the hell it was called. The Medtronic, I can't remember it. He says, which Joker? There's been 3 of them. And they just left that storyline at that. And then what happened years later, the first issue, the 3 Jokers. So this is supposed to be the origin or the final, or figuring out who these 3 Jokers are. Now the thing is, this book right here is called a Black Label, so which means it's a Black Label book right here. So that means it should be a little bit more graphic. It's like adult, or like almost adult stuff. And there is approximately almost 30 different covers of this book. There's 30 different variants of this book. Most of them are of Joker doing this. One of the Joker has been the Red Hood, and that was cool. One is Batman. One is Batman's face. One is Batgirl's face. And I could have bought all of them for like $70, but I was like, Do I really want all these books? I already got 10 of this. But then again, one of those covers might be worth money. Who knows? But anyway, this book is a big whopping like $7, I believe. But I'm so interested in the story, and this is just part one, because I guess he's going to figure out the identity of all three Jokers. Now the problem is, which means that now to tell you the truth, there's been four Batman. First is Bruce Wayne. Second is Azrael after Nightfall. The third was Tim Drake after a while, between the Battle of the Cowl when Bruce Wayne supposedly died. And four, Dick Grayson. So there's been four Batman. So hopefully they get an idea of who all these three Jokers are. And believe me, once I read this, I know I'm gonna love it. I have to, because they've been dangling this story for years. A lot of Batman fans have been asking it. A lot of Joker fans have been asking about this for years. Why would you drop a bombshell like that and not have some kind of backup for it? Here we are now. Now, one of the things about this story, they always have some good back. Sometimes they have some good back issues. So I looked through them, and I found some, which was kind of cool. But then again, I try to stay there for like no more than half an hour. Now, the fun thing about the store, it's a very small store. It's about it's not that big either. And the funny thing is that there's a girl that works there throughout the day. Not the owner, but there's a little girl, and what happens, she locks the door. So you have to knock on the door to get in. Just so she can open the door again. So I guess it's a way for her to keep herself safe and everything else, which is kind of trippy and creepy in itself. But anyway, so I found this book right here, Star Wars number 49. I remember this back in the day. It's called The Last Jedi, and this is one of my favorite old school Star Wars stories from the 80s. And this story was like super awesome. I loved it. And of course I got it for $5. So that's kind of cool. That was kind of cool. I found comics that I had. It might be in the garage. I don't even know. It might be in my garage right now. But it's not in that condition, I can tell you that. And plus, back in the day, me and my brother bought the same comic books. So what happens, I had to write my name on the cover, and he had to write his name on his cover. So naturally, like 20 some years later, I'm like, thanks. But anyway, this one is Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man number 70. And the reason I remember having this book when I was a kid, and I loved this one. Bought it for $4. I don't know, can you see that? $4. There's a guy named Silverman right here, and there's Cloak and Dagger, who was they were kind of big in the Spider-Man universe a little bit. They were teenagers that it's kind of weird, their origin story. These guys try to kidnap these kids, and they fed them some bad drugs, and they got superpowers from it. Kind of trippy. Silvermane is this guy right here. He's this old gangster guy who tries to just keep his, don't like the idea of being old. And plus, he's also in one of my other old Spider-Man comics back in the day. So this is kind of cool. This next one was pretty cool. Amazing Spider-Man number 141. Got it for $10. And it's it's funny. It's about Mysterio, but he has all these. He brings up all these villains and stuff right here. And it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat because I remember buying this. I remember reading this and having this when I was a kid. It might be in my garage. It might not be. There's like 300. There's like over 500 books in my garage, so I don't know what I got. But anyway, I can tell you one thing. It's not in this good condition. I can tell you that. But anyway, that's cool. And the last one is one of the most trippiest ones I have. It's Amazing Spider-Man 160. Now check this out. It's $5. And what happened is it's about the Spider-Mobile. There's this guy named the Tinker who likes to build. He's a villain that builds like contraptions for villains, and somehow he, if I remember correctly, he bugged the Spider-Mobile to be remote controlled to kill Spider-Man. And yes, there was a spider buggy, and I had the spider buggy when I was a little kid, along with my Spider-Man figure. And that's it for today. That is it for today, man. This morning I woke up. I was tired. I was tired, exhausted. Had 2 cups of coffee. Had a little jobby job. Went to my little jobby job. Did my little jobby job for a while. Had a little light lunch. Then I went out there. I almost got in a Twitter fight with some people, and I just looked up and said, "It's not worth it." Social media fighting, it's not worth it. You know why? Because guess what? You're not gonna budge. They're not gonna budge. 2 people buzzing heads. You're not getting anywhere. But anyway, and then I pick up these comments, and I'm feeling great. The only thing that sucked was that for some reason I had a big infestation of ants near my computer and my workstation. So I had to, before I went to my podiatrist, I had to spray this bug spray, which stinks. It's really strong and it really stinks. I was like, oh my gosh. But anyway, I'm doing good. Except for drinking water and coughing. But anyway. Hope you guys are doing well, doing okay, and being safe as you possibly can. Just remember, in this game called life, you only get one. Sometimes you can dodge a bullet many times, but sooner or later, that bullet has your name on it. And when that bullet has your name on it, it's going to tap you on the shoulder like this. And you're going to turn around and say, "What's up?" And the bullet says, "Hey, buddy. It's my turn." I said, "No, I'm like Teflon Don. You can't touch me." I said, "You can't touch this. Can't touch this. Boom. Game over." So with that parting goal, and with that parting reply, take care of yourselves, because other people can't take care of you. And if other people are taking care of you, you're more better off than anybody else. All right. Talk to you later.